Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Just to feel that it's open.
It's just to,
Not that we're talking to you, but I mean you, but
is it
not you.
it will be this funny, like, is this legal as part of like what I'm doing, or this is like a secret state? Is it in the small letters in the contract it says like you cannot publish
No,
like
I think what will be worse is whatever content you make there will belong to the academy so that it will get into trouble if you upload by yourself. No, they take all the copyrights from you.
get it off. I still have some. Perfect. Well, I think I need it. It's just for the control right now. Thanks. Yeah. My the batteries of my uh thingy are getting my thingy. The batteries of my my controllers of the VR headset are
Oh,
getting it. So you saw what I did, no? Like,
with the
I think it
Pathfinder.
was like yeah, and it took me a while to yeah, it took me a while to get it to work
Hmm,
in VR. It's
sure.
always it takes always it isn't it like yeah, you don't learn. I don't learn from this that I thought like, yeah, I will. I mean, it's just opening a browser.
Yeah.
Yeah, in theory, opening a browser in VR. But then it has to be streamed. I mean, like all these things, it has to be streamed.
Mm,
Then for some reason, I don't know why. Yeah, I guess that there are some reasons that I will not mention, but like then the internet connect, the Wi-Fi connection is dropping constantly
oh.
because yeah. Then and there's the Wi-Fi for casting. I mean, it's not casting, it's streaming. Yeah, there were many things. So at the end,
Mm,
like I spent a lot of time until I left almost at 12, and you have to be at midnight here. And I
yeah.
was like almost running because at midnight you have to leave the space at midnight
Oh.
here because otherwise, I think if there is, I think the alarm, you can trigger an alarm when you go somewhere, and that becomes a drama.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
okay.
that becomes dramatic.
Yeah. Yeah, but I
Uh,
saw that your recording was timestamped like 23,
I
you know.
yeah, but at the end, because at the end I thought like, yeah, I think I have different. I think I was trying to do it also gradually, and at some it was not working. Like I mean, gradually as how I made the first videos of this week of the water, but then it wasn't. It was not. I couldn't do it like because I could not control many. That's but okay, but that could be interesting. Like to then jump and connect what we were speaking yesterday. Like then create increasing the kind of layers as I was doing in the previous videos when I was just drinking water. That was possible because I basically, it was just analog somehow. It is, let's say that, yeah, I was not depending so much on technology.
Right.
It is more a simple setup.
Just with a
Um,
camera. That was
it's just the
taking, yeah.
camera. Basically what the only like tech, technical thing that is there is a Wi-Fi switcher that I'm triggering from there, switching between the two pre-record images and the live feed.
Right.
The technology is only that. There's via Wi-Fi, there's a connection where I'm switching what is being projected at the moment. While then with using the VR, I didn't know like also the if it's too dark, then the VR won't run in pass through, and I just wanted in pass through. So
Mm.
if
Yeah, I
it's
saw your
in
hands.
dark, yeah, because I also realized yesterday, then I started like playing a bit with the understanding the gestures and trying to make it work just with the gestures, which are actually like
Mm,
quite fine if you have light. If there is light, you can do it with that. And as a side note, I thought like that's almost like a that's a dancing piece, like trying to make work just the interface,
mm,
because
yeah,
you have to be physical with the interface, and there's so much going on in that.
yeah,
I mean, the special you can. I was thinking that you can create a piece only on that, like how you can basically deal with
right.
that, because also people can relate to that. I mean, there is something on that that I guess I won't go in there, but I was thinking like this is actually totally you can see somebody doing a piece on that.
Yeah. But this is like this reality thing that we talked yesterday, right? Because it's like a different reality where you're in, and like also the body, like your body is not for this VR, like how do you say, like you have to type the URL and open the browser and set it up. That's something that with a computer it's physical, but within the VR environment with your controller, it's just like the body is not optimized for that VR environment where you have to type your type the URL with your controller and stuff. It's not like
Well, and you were mentioning, you said that what that that it was interesting to see when I when I lost the connection, because then you could not see the
mm,
image, but then you could
yeah.
see the.
So I commented that was on chat, right? I sent you the message, but like because there's the projection sometimes drops, like you said, like because of Wi-Fi or I don't know the reason, but then I don't see Pathfinder that you are seeing, but because you are continuing because you are seeing it, right? It's not interrupted in VR, but it's just interrupted in the projection.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in the recording that you sent me, I know that you are still following it.
Wait, I lost you.
Oh, okay. Am I
I'm lost
back?
in you. I'm losing you. Yeah, but then I don't know why like the connection today is not strong, but could
Hmm.
be mine.
But
Are you in the same space?
today,
No.
yeah, but today I found like sometimes like I was just watching videos, but it was dropping sometimes. So it could
Net test.
be that I'm gonna just close my browser just in case if there's some weird stuff happening. But like here's like 5 people living together.
No, I
So
see. Like my Wi-Fi is weird stuff. Yeah,
oh, okay.
could be also that because they're setting things for the festival. I mean, there is happening a festival here,
Right.
but it could
Is it
be
already
because
happening today
it's
or
it's opening today. Yeah,
okay,
I'll try to go and see two things. And
nice.
I think the thing with Brigitte will happen here, so I
Okay,
will see that tomorrow.
cool. Yeah, say hi to them.
I don't recognize them because I think I haven't. When do I met them somewhere with
I don't
you?
think
Because
so.
I mean, Tom, Brigitte.
I don't know if
This
you
is
met
crazy.
a connection.
No, it's here. The product is here.
Yeah. How do we do this now?
Uh,
Hmm.
Speed test.
Should we switch off videos?
Let me try to see now.
Hmm?
I just use I mean, my phone would work. And I
Hmm.
mean, I can use my
Okay.
internet. Personal hotspot. Wait.
I don't know if I should say something while waiting. Maybe I can just present some of my stuff I brought.
Now should be now. I mean, I think now stable. Should be stable
Yeah.
or
I mean,
not.
I hear you. The video is coming back. Yeah. Okay.
I hear you.
Yes. I was just filling the time, showing some random stuff. I didn't give you this one, right? I made a zine.
What is that?
It's a zine, like just
You made that?
yeah. There's this technique that you print it out and you cut in the middle and you fold it like this and it becomes like a little
Yes.
book.
So booklet.
Anyways,
Yeah,
yeah,
I found that really difficult to do this. Okay, but now is yeah. Now we can talk.
yeah. Let's see.
Okay, let's go back to
So what were we saying? Ah, yeah, the interruption. Actually, this is funny because we're talking about the video, drop, drop off interruption, and this is happening on our Zoom.
But then, so I was thinking on that, like then, say for instance, we here what we're trying to do is like it's not a research, like we are trying just to use the tool to communicate. So here is not interesting. I mean, we need this to work, right? We need to rely
In the
in that
video
we
call,
can
yes.
the video call.
Yeah.
So is this so I thought it was interesting what you said, but then how to play with that, like then
Mm,
it's somehow that you give a glimpse of um, that is part of the game basically.
mm,
That is basically part of the game to to play with the fragility of the connection.
right.
Because
Like,
if
yeah.
it's because I think from outside, I think could look only that there is a problem.
Mm,
I think there should be hints or some, or even maybe just could be like literally saying just before that acknowledging that will happen. I mean, if this is an element that you want to use, it must also do something. It cannot just be the glitch. It cannot only be the error. And if what I'm trying to achieve somehow, what I'm trying to research is in the clarity somehow on. I think I'm trying to work on being clear on or understanding somehow that the people understand what is
like our
going on
intention.
somehow, like the intention. Yeah, I put it. I
Mm,
was talking today. I thought, yeah, I was thinking of that.
mm, interesting. Because the way I saw it, like when I saw your video, like first thing I kind of idea I had was like, what if this Pathfinder is not random, but or one way could be like, it's just video that plays back. So every time you do it, it's the same. Or it can be like, connect to the server and server is like broadcasting to everyone. So when you're doing it, I can also see the Pathfinder on my computer, and we're seeing exactly the same thing. And then,
Like, so that it's streaming everywhere, you mean?
yeah, like wherever you open the website, it will show the same thing. And then from there, um, for example, if just example, but if we both film ourselves moving with this, but without Pathfinder, the screen, or it can be, sometimes shows up, sometimes goes off. But then if you have side by side, like let's say like in this Zoom right now, I mean, we can't really try it, but we start moving with the Pathfinder, but without showing Pathfinder, then it could be interesting because obviously we will see the correlation because we're moving with the same instruction.
Yeah, and yeah, so that worked because then the intention is clear.
Mm.
So
Maybe it's too obvious. I mean, it's not
no,
so
but I
bad
think it's
thing.
fine. Like, I think it's not bad in this moment. Like
No.
I think I'm more keen to make it obvious. Like that's what
Mm.
I was mentioning, even like to read, because normally I don't work like that. Like
Mm.
then we will work also, I think, at the other spectrum more like on completely in a black box. We
Mm.
speak about what we do in best practices. Um, so then we like to be more going to the other spectrum because I know then I will naturally try to just glitch or get into the errors. Um, and then going back a bit to this that we talk about, like the immersion
Yeah.
or evoking. I thought, what it was this? Like, yeah, but I think I mentioned that yesterday to you. Like, but what if the action, for instance, is that I thought like one is that every like that, and you portray this into halves, and then one first half, the performer eats a candy, and then you have this setup with three cameras. So like the same example of like the three cameras and then the changing of the view. So but the action is like eating a candy, and then afterwards, then the public eats the candy. I mean, what I'm using like the candy thing is because it's easy to go. I mean, you have to with the candy. I mean, when you have a sweet, then your body, everybody eats a candy differently. So there's a whole story that you can make up out of the
Mm.
candy.
Interesting.
Um, but also but also could be. I mean, I thought that, but also I realized could be very messy and could take too long because you have to eat the candy. But what if it's like, for instance, like the like folding and unfolding a paper, and then um so based on the same thing, like based on this formula, almost like first that you establish something that is understandable for everyone. Like what the only thing you have to do is to fold and unfold the paper, and but then you work on some dramaturgy there. Like you try to put some maybe some story or some triggers that allow for the people to create their own meaning. So their own like their specific meaning of why are they doing that. Um, because the intention with that still will be on evoking. I'm trying to mix this like the dancing somehow, like the dance with the grid and the path finder. I like it, and I think could go. I mean, that can go within technology in different places that I could see moving. Um, but then how to move, how to integrate the two things, like the yeah, one is like to evoke, or how
Mm,
to play with the immersion,
yeah.
like that, so that there is actually meaningful for the person, or does it has to be meaningful for the person?
Mm,
Because maybe it doesn't have, like, if it's could be that it's about to understand the game. This goes close to what we found interesting. What we found interesting in the losing a connection is that there is something there that is not yet solved. So it keeps the attention for the audience, for you as an audience, to try to understand what is going on. It's not so clear. It looks damaged. So it creates an incomplete line that forces you as an audience to try to find
right.
if it's, I mean, if it's, that's what I'm saying. If it's approach it in that way, then you have to work around that, with technology and dramaturgy. So with the choreography, then to make sure that the people also understand that it's in purpose, but not completely. So that is not completely closed. It's something that it must stay open for the person to keep the audience interested. Like
Right.
if you don't mention in any sense that it's part of the performance, literally or not literally, then it can just stay on till they talk with somebody afterwards as like, I thought it was not working. So it must be, if it's that intention, it must be taken into consideration how to gamify, because basically then you create a game. No, it's like almost it's playing. Then how you choreograph that game and give hints to understand that.
I see.
I don't know, but that, yeah. So wait, sorry. So this is, I'm seeing like the moving with the Pathfinder can go within technology. I can see it work. Um, but then how can we implement something that, first, like, is it necessary to evoke something, like to go to that immersive space of evoking more personal things, like when I mentioned the candy, when I mentioned the paper, is close to this what we spoke about, immersive from a personal perspective, like when
Right.
yeah um and that is a very different space than the playing playing with the Pathfinder.
Right.
That's more a code, a running code, like
Yeah.
between, like to cipher what's going on, basically.
Right.
And the other one, so I will say that in the Pathfinder approach, it's about generating a game, so an algorithm that is there actually, and then use your hiding things, and then you create with that. But then the other place is a bit more, it's an intimate space where actually you are, is you actually, you're like the performer is not creating something, is the person who is creating, like the meaning rises from the audience. So it's not about understanding, but it's about meaning. What does it mean? Like, I think if we spoke about like evoking, like, yeah, to immersion through evoking personal things, or at the other side, understanding an algorithm.
Yeah, but I feel we're maybe missing one step, because if I see a show where performers start eating candies, then of
Yeah.
course I have a reference of myself eating candy. So I will think about my experience, but then I think first thing I would think is like, why are they doing? What is their intention?
Yeah.
And that comes from my experience to guess why they're doing, because they're hungry or they, want a dessert. But that's coming from me, but that's like projecting my experience to their situation. And then in the case of Pathfinder, I just don't have the reference, right? If the performer is
No.
following Pathfinder, then I will think about, why are they doing? But I don't have a reference of, well, I have a reference, but normally don't have a reference. So
Okay,
that's
so I think we are
more
talking like
difficult.
I think we are touching something that is interesting. Let me give me a second. I understand that. Question mark. And the other one was what? Like evoking immersion. Um, but what if it's about said is like, I think this is what somehow we're speaking about like it's an algorithm somehow, like, because what if it's like just there are two elements, but then we don't know how to put them, like um what if it's you are showing an audience how you will approach eating a candy, or how you would approach landing a candle, or so what if it's about like the performer, for like what happens in the space is the performer show an action and the first step, and the second one is that the audience is invited to do the action, clarifying that they can do it, I mean, somehow in that way or not. But what if it is, if we invert then, and then the first action is there is something there, I mean the candy is there, and you tell them to eat the candy, and then and then you as performer, you do the action.
Of the public.
Yeah, I mean, meaning that what is happening, like technologies, things are happening in there, no? Like the first action will be me. I will be switching. I will be trying I mean, this idea of like the evoking through immersion in this, uh, that will be close to perception, no? So then we'll be close to switching points of view. So while I'm presenting the eating the candy, like then I will use this trickery basically to speak about following.
Sorry, the connection dropped. I couldn't catch what you were saying.
But I'm saying when there could be, or yeah, that you can invert the order of how to present the things.
Right.
I mean, it could, it depends, no? What is they're trying to
Yeah.
achieve?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm gonna say something that it's something here, but I can't really articulate. So what do you say? You're saying start to feel like it's like a kind of role playing. So, like this role playing game, like not as a video game, but something that,
Like LARP, like this thing,
yeah, like
LARP.
LARP, for example. Yeah.
Okay.
I never played it, but the idea is like you have to follow like rules and script, and everybody takes part in
Right.
as their role, right? So that's like kind of like video game, but analog version of video game, but you have
Yeah.
rules. Um, so that's one thing, like could be like what you said. I think there's like it's becoming like LARP, which is interesting in a way, but then not fully diving into that, but like what is like Pathfinder kind of thing. I don't know what I'm trying to make a connection that doesn't click yet. Is it like Pathfinder LARP? I don't know. Everybody's like trying to be dot and line. I don't know. Or because Pathfinder is a really interesting example that you cannot relate to, but it has clear rule set. Maybe it's a reduced version of
Yeah.
role playing. You just have to be rotating, stretching lines. But you know, there's no story behind it. There's nothing like developing. But is it really?
So maybe, like just maybe, is then I mean now that because we understand what was the intention somehow or what I mean we are in this loop of conversation. That's why it was interesting for you when you saw it, because then you thought,
Right.
you lost connection.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the meaning, so like the meaning passed through the technology, um, which could be very. I mean, if we could achieve something like that, could be very interesting. What I'm tackling somehow is like the technology takes away the meaning of it, like somehow what I see as a problem in dance is that when you translate literally dance into a virtual space, it fails as such in the translation. So like the meaning is lost.
Right.
That's my argue. That's what I'm arguing somehow. Can you put it? I said in nice words. To be right there.
I don't know what I just the meaning is lost when you put dance in VR. Yeah.
Yeah, when you translate that, when literally you translate dance in VR, the
Yeah.
meaning is lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what somehow I'm arguing or trying. That's my assumption.
Mm.
Um, so I'm saying that the technology takes away the meaning of the dance when it's virtualized in that when it's digitized in that way. But what you're saying here is if the technology, if we find a way how if the technology can actually give meaning to what you're doing or what you're perceiving in reality, or what you're perceiving, then somehow it's interesting. It's kind of reversing this. If it does make
Yeah.
does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes and
Because
no. I kind of get it, but and that's also I'm trying to say, you know, like that's why like I'm trying to articulate and I couldn't. And but I guess we kind of share something. Yeah, share something, but it's hard to articulate this.
but that was things that's what I was mentioning and start seeing somehow it seems almost like a formula or as an algorithm that is
Yeah.
that you have to understand.
Yeah.
Um,
So let's come back to this link again, because the call is finishing, the 40
yeah,
minute. Yeah.
this is gonna drop. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I need to go to the bathroom and then I'll be back.
Yep.
Okay.